Thank you so much for having me. I was actually on this stage 2 years ago releasing one of our first big AI projects, believe it or not, this exact stage. So I am excited. And listen, I know that AI is a controversial topic, so let's start by this. Can we get a raise of hands of anybody in here who doesn't like AI or thinks AI is bullshit? Couple hands. Okay, you guys aren't going to like me after this speech. Just giving you a heads up. Listen, let's start with something deeper. I believe that fundamentally, everybody in this room is managing the most important part of the future of business. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. I know a lot of folks in here are younger, they're starting their careers, they're builders, but the reality is that social media in a world of AI is the future of advertising, completely. Influencers are going to be the only human thing left that consumers can rely on. So you are all sitting at the intersection of the most important shift in marketing and arguably the most important shift of the world's history, which is social. And I think sometimes we take that for granted. And the world's changing so fast. So when we think about what that means and how we harness it, I want to talk a little bit about 15 years of social has been more about publishing, posting more, and spending more. I have a 5-year-old son. His name's Anthony. And he recently started referring to me as a dino because he thinks that I'm old. But what's funny is the reason I thought of that today was because when I got here this morning and I saw you guys rolling in, looking great, young, scrappy, I felt like a dino again. I've been in the social media space. This year's my 13th year in social. And I've been in social. I started my early days as a Vine manager. I used to manage Vine stars. Guys like Scotty Sire and David Dobrik and Jake Paul. I used to actually have his mom sign his contract because he was under 18. So my first years in social were hanging out with creators and shooting their content, sleeping on couches, and I really was honored to have an opportunity to grow in the social media space by growing up with creators. The entire mantra of Viral Nation is help big brands become like creators. Right? When you think about creators are simply the foremost experts of social media. That's what a creator is. A creator is a social pro. And that's what brands try to emulate every day. So when we talk about this next piece, which is going to be deep, is going to be something that changes the game for a very long time, it doesn't mean, and I want everyone in this room to know this, it does not mean that anyone in this room is going to be replaced by AI. Okay? I'm not the draconian type. Okay? I'm not the type who's going to stand up here and be like, you have 6 months and you're not going to have a job, like everyone's timeline says. But what I will tell you, for someone who's been in this space for 12 and a half years and has been through everything, team, I've been through the ups, the downs, the sideways, what I can tell you is AI is going to disrupt our space significantly. And the only way that you don't become a meme of the person who got replaced by AI is if you lean in right now, like today, and you start making the right moves necessary in order to let AI be your tool. Because what makes you all special is not that you post on social, is not that you pick the right creator, it's your brain. You see the opportunity in social, you love community. That doesn't change with AI, it should make you stronger. So don't resist it. Figure out how to own it, because social media management, social and creator are going to be the biggest industry in marketing in the next 5 years, and you guys can win just by being the leaders in AI. And I mean that. So today, we're going to talk about what it means for the people who are winning in social right now. So for those of you who don't know, AI is not a concept, AI is in full delivery. Meaning large organizations like Viral Nation and others are already in market with large tools and big data sets. That's exciting. But the data is the most important piece to how you start to unlock the signals in social necessary to help you to win. So I'll start with talking to you guys about my AI journey and give you some ideas of what makes Viral Nation incredibly different. So like I said, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I released a product called Viral Nation Secure publicly with Adweek. And Viral Nation Secure was the first ever AI technology I built. It took 3.5 years. We used vision models. AI didn't exist. It was clunky. But what we ended up building was the future of the social AI space. So not a lot of people know this about Viral Nation, but Viral Nation has 11 years of social media data. We have ingested 1.4 million hours of social video, and we have processed 34 million posts through our systems to date already. And we've done that not just with the analytics, we've actually done it in a multimodal intelligence layer. What does that mean, technical guy? That means instead of just looking at text, we actually, when we took those 34 million posts in, we looked at every single thing in the video, and we tagged it. Is there a dog? Is there a brand? Are they happy? Are they sad? And we did these incredible filtering to basically be able to capture not just a creator's post or a brand's post, but every single attribute about that post. And then we built data rails to be able to do that at a 60 million plus clip. Now, what does that mean? That means that Viral Nation now has one of the largest data sets in the world outside of platforms like Meta to be able to run and build AI tools for the future of our space. So those are some of the tools that you're going to be able to see today. But we've now created at Viral Nation close to 18 tools. So these are 18 different products that we use inside of Viral Nation to change how social operates. And today we're going to go through 3 examples. I just want to caveat something. There's 3 videos. Each video is 2 minutes long. Okay? I know that in this room, a 2-minute video is like watching a 45-minute orca crossing. I know that. I was at dinner last night, and the woman who runs marketing for Viral Nation showed me the videos again, and I'm like, oh no, Alice, those are long. This group is going to think those are like documentaries. Go with me. I got them from 4 minutes to 2. But the goal is to think about, when you're watching these videos, not necessarily the cool factor or what you're seeing in terms of the data. It's about looking at these videos to understand how the process is changing and what steps are changing with it and what that means for our industry, okay? Because I'm also here to tell you, team, that a lot of us, even though we're good at what we do, still spend 90% of our time convincing others around us that what we do is worth doing. And that's the part of the social media world that I hate, right? What you guys are doing every day, the communications you're having and what social's doing to these brands. Guys, look at Poppy, right? Look at Prime. Look at Feastables. These are brands that used to take 25 years to get that big. They did that in 2, in 3, in 4. So when these large brands around the world are going, social's not that important, they just haven't had someone like Darman or someone like Logan Paul come and eat their lunch yet, right? So it's important to understand these elements. And what I'm going to show you today is just 3 of our 18 tools. One is going to be how we do creator discovery intelligence at a very different pace than the entire industry today. 2 is an example of how we do community management intelligence. And then 3rd is how we actually use content dynamics to make more money for our brand customers. So there are 3 tools that kind of run the gambit, but the goal is for you to see what's possible when you're built like Viral Nation is built. So let's start with the first one. A lot of companies in our world, and I know everyone in here has likely used an influencer marketing platform before. The tagline on every influencer marketing platform is, we have 10 million creators. We have 20 million creators. We have access to 50 million creators. But guess what? When General Motors goes to do an influencer marketing program, they only need 10. It's kind of counterintuitive. The problem has been that us marketers in the social space have had to make everything look big to get people to notice. So for 5 years, it was who has the most influencers on their platform. With AI, it's the polar opposite. okay? So there's 100 million creators, I need 7. How do we do that, right? This is still how most teams spend $100,000 today, right now, 2026, April. Plug in keywords to a search tool, eyeball follower counts and engagement rates, scroll their feeds and check the vibes, right? And then send a short list and hope like hell the brand says yes. That's a $100,000 decision. I'm here to tell you guys, in media, if a media company showed up with that process, they get fired. Social's not important enough yet, but it's becoming important, and we need to figure out how we're gonna manage that. So here's what we did. And this is really special, team, so I want you to focus on this because it's unprecedented kind of in the social space. We accessed a database of over 100 million creators globally. Then what we did was we put on a performance threshold. So we said, of those 100 million, show us all the ones that have engagement rates, have grown in the last 14 days. We put on filters that we know really well separate a good influencer from a bad influencer, and it went from 100 million to 2, believe it or not. So there goes some of the noise. But 2 million's too much. And we kept thinking and thinking and thinking, and how are we going to make this smaller for our customers? And we had added new layers. Do they sell through? Are they brand safe? Do they have irregular growth patterns? We used almost 50 data points in order to bring it from 2 million to 470,000. So now Viral Nation holds a universe, we call it the Viral Nation universe, 470,000 proven sponsor-ready creators. It's the first time in our industry that's ever been done. I'll give you an example. If you're an account person at Viral Nation, you can only use creators who are in that network. If you want to use a creator who's not in that network, you have to ask for approval because there's a reason that they weren't in it. So that's the level of scrutiny we put on the data. And then from there, we start to narrow it down. So I'm going to play this video for you all, and I want you to pay attention to kind of how this process has changed the future of how we do creator discovery.
Creator discovery today is still largely manual, relying on keyword and hashtag searches across millions of creators, most of whom you'd never actually consider working with. For this specific brand, their marketing objective is to find creators who can destigmatize adult incontinence for women over 45 in the United States. A very complex and difficult discovery ask. We start by configuring our creator and audience filtering to narrow down our proprietary universe of 375,000 pre-vetted sponsor-ready creators in North America that align with the brand and campaign brief. Here's the fun part. We upload the brief. The system then parses the entire brief as your digital strategist, automatically summarizing the core objectives, extracting the nuances like brand voice, campaign goals, key deliverables, and actionable data points that define a successful activation. Social AI creates a unified search strategy evaluating talent across our entire creator universe. One click. The system reads the brief, understands the nuance including tone, audience, taboo, and subject matter, then starts working. Now it's qualifying. Every creator in our universe is being evaluated against this brief. Not on surface metrics, but on what they actually say in their videos, what their audience looks like, whether the content fit is real. It's now building a full strategic case for every creator that made it through. Not just who they are, but why they're right for this specific campaign. The curated shortlist is ready to view. Here's your shortlist. 38 creators, every single one a top pick. You can see their platforms, engagement rates, total views, all real, all from the last 90 days, sorted by match score. Click into any creator profile and you're looking at their actual content. This isn't a stock photo and a follower count. You're seeing what this person makes every day, right now. And here's where it gets crazy. A full strategic recommendation for the creator on this campaign. How to position them, what format to use, what the audience payoff will be. A ready-to-execute creative concept, generated from their real content and the brief. That's not discovery, that's intelligence.
So, team, that's interesting. We can now take a brand's brief directly that we build, and instead of searching for keywords, we can put it against a network of those 400,000 creators, against everything they've ever posted, how they talk, what they talk about, are they relevant, and we now use intelligence in order to place creators for campaigns. That is a massive milestone. For anybody who's in this room who sources talent, you'll understand how big of a milestone that this is. And I also want to call out, for those of you in the room who have looked for talent in the past, this is one of the hardest talent asks you could possibly get. Older audience, has to feel comfortable about talking about incognizance online. These are things that used to take Viral Nation's teams 2 weeks to find a short list of creators like this. Now we don't have to, right? So when we think about this, we start to think about how big of a change is really taking place and how the data and the understanding of the creators is way more important than the analytics and the cute stuff that we've looked at for the last 11 years. Next, we talk about comment section, right? We have a brand, a Viral Nation, 5 million followers. They get about 50,000 comments a month. What does that mean? Watch this video and I'll show you kind of the future of how we do community management leveraging our AI systems.
Community management today means working out of an inbox and community management tools that just don't cut it anymore for enterprise brands. Responding to comments one by one. Social AI changes that. It analyzes the entire comment layer at scale, giving you a complete view of what's happening across thousands of conversations, driving greater retention of current customers and finding new ones to acquire. Analyzing 3,500 comments from this brand's owned channels, sentiment is 88% positive. But sentiment is just the surface. Social AI classifies every comment by intent, purchase signals, product feedback, brand advocacy, service issues, and unanswered questions. This is data no inbox tool can surface today. 185 comments with direct product feedback, 284 active purchase intent signals, 73 unresolved service issues, competitors showing up in your own comments, and over 700 brand advocates recommending the product organically, all classified instantly and completely designed specifically for each brand. Here's what that looks like in practice. People saying, "I'm getting it now," alongside critical alerts about product safety that need immediate response. Over 600 comments are flagged as UGC potential. Community members already sharing results you can turn into ads. A far more authentic starting point for creator partnerships. All of this feeds directly into content. The top topics, the over 200 unanswered questions, product availability, how-to tips, where to buy. Everyone is a content opportunity waiting to be published. And this isn't just top funnel. Every comment is assigned an urgency level and a recommended action. 5 critical alerts needing immediate response, over 200 high priority signals, and a clear next step for each one. When you can identify intent in real time, you can guide conversations toward action, turning comments into insight, content, creator opportunities, and conversion. This is the future of community management.
So, team, when we think about what that means, one of the things that Viral Nation believes very strongly is that social should be a connected ecosystem. Right? There's too many brands whose community teams don't talk to their content teams, who don't talk to their influencer teams, and vice versa. But what people haven't figured out, again, because they don't understand the value of social yet, is that when you start combining these elements together, they start to really sing, right? In Viral Nation, our community managers are the brain of our organization. Why? Because they spend the most time on social media. They know what's going on. They know more about a trend that's popping off than a strategist at Viral Nation does. I actually have Madison, the EVP of social at Viral Nation. She runs all of community management. Matt, are you here? How big of a difference has the AI integrations been to this community teams? So the key thing I want to highlight there is it doesn't take away the human spark. We've set up these AI tools to enable folks like yourself to be even deadlier, to save time. Guys, Viral Nation's community management team was hand-bombing comments into a spreadsheet 6 months ago. Swear to God, hand-bombing, asking for screenshots, right? This is the future. This is how we build bespoke systems for customers to be able to run their social. And very cool, team. Viral Nation is now starting to hit momentum where we're creating more revenue for our customers in community management than they're paying us to do it. Because community management is where the people are. It's where the customers are. People don't go follow Pizza on Instagram because they're excited about the new meme. They're a potential customer, right? So we're turning community management into intelligence, intelligence into signals, signals into sales. That's how AI works. And this is why this next piece is going to be a really interesting one for everybody. So you spend $20 million on social and you can't tell the CFO what it did. This is the bane of my existence for everybody in the room, proving that social media works for the last 11 years. But I'm very excited to share that not only have we cracked the code utilizing AI on how we measure ROI in social, we've even figured out, which you're going to see in this video, how to use creative to increase ROI.
Most brands are familiar with tracking likes and views, but have you ever wondered which piece of content actually resulted in a sale? That crucial link has been missing, until now. Social AI steps in by measuring every creative variable, hook type, content style, and how a product is demonstrated directly against sales. Let's start with a Viral Nation client example. Tutorial hooks are converting at a rate of 1.6%, whereas statement hooks, which are the go-to for many brands, are converting at 1.1%. The first 3 seconds of a video play a significant role in shaping purchasing behavior, and we now have the ability to see exactly how. When it comes to content style, user-generated content, UGC, is leading the pack. UGC is 46% more efficient at driving sales compared to cinematic content, which is the most produced and often the most expensive style on the list. Here's a surprising insight. Creators who seamlessly integrate the product without a hard sell are actually generating more sales than those who explicitly endorse it. Indeed, a subtle approach is outperforming the hard sell, and now we have the data to prove it. Lifestyle demonstrations are taking the lead, while tutorials, which are commonly requested in briefs, are lagging behind. Even the camera angle used can make a difference. Content shot in third person is outperforming first person. These aren't just creative preferences, they're drivers of purchasing decisions. Let's broaden our view to the campaign level. Here we've plotted each program by sales volume and sales efficiency, with the investment size represented as the bubble. Take a look at the upper right corner, the scale winners quadrant. In that quadrant, you'll find advocacy and brand lift. They're high in volume and high in efficiency. Meanwhile, the seasonal push is down in the lower left. The lower left is characterized by low volume and low efficiency. So, where did the money go? It turns out that 5 programs were all funded within a similar range. The critical question is, did that even distribution result in even outcomes? The answer is no. Brand lift resulted in 416 sales. Advocacy, on the other hand, resulted in just 53 sales. While the investment was in the same ballpark, the outcomes were dramatically different. Now, this is where things get particularly interesting. When you shift the focus to conversion efficiency, the story takes a turn. Awareness leaps to the top. It's not just about driving volume. Awareness is converting more efficiently than anything else. This results in a completely different ranking and necessitates a completely different investment decision, depending on whether the goal is scale or efficiency. With social AI, content and campaign intelligence are transformed into a repeatable system designed for predictable ROI.
So team, I have a theory. I think that for many years, us social marketers tried to comply with what we knew isn't true. I'll give you an example. I haven't bought a goddamn thing for over $100 in the last 5 years without watching a YouTube video first. I just haven't. I watch YouTube at home. I find all the shit that I buy on TikTok and Instagram. I do. But the problem is, as marketers in this room, we're forced to figure out how to show things convert. But the reality that was missing the whole time is that we just couldn't show it was converting without that shit. So what did we do? We went to, here's a discount code. We went to hook it in the first 3 seconds, make it salesy, push it with paid. But the reality is that social works. We just didn't know how to show that it worked. So now, imagine how empowering it is for me to walk into a room with a CMO of a Fortune 500 company and be able to literally show them that you're making more money from awareness creator campaigns than you are from creator campaigns that are meant for sales. Never been able to do that, team. I've always had to conform, right? And now AI and the data that we have allows us to build models that show ROI on every part of social. That's game-changing for everybody in here. Because you know what that means? Pretty soon, the businesses that you work at are going to realize that you're driving more for the business than the 40 guys sitting in the other room or on another floor. Guaranteed. Okay. But what does it mean? Well, 35% increase in our campaign efficiency. That's what we've gained by just using some of those tools you saw. 35%. That's not a small number. And by the way, guys, Viral Nation does some of the biggest enterprise social deals in the world. 5 times the engagement output in community and community intelligence. And 100% revenue clarity with our major customers. That was only possible because Viral Nation spent 5 years developing data and AI systems. So it's the largest real-time intelligence system in human history. What is that? That's social media. When you guys open your phone now and you see people talking about AI and you talk about data and you talk about what's really interesting, team, is the best data in the entire world is social media data. Why? Because we make it. It's not computers, it's not websites, it's not apps, it's none of that stuff. Social media, people always ask me, when my grandmother asks me what is influencer marketing, I tell her it's the people's media. All we decided to do is take the reins, right? So if you can figure out how to harness social media data correctly in this world of AI, and you push yourself to really, really, truly understand what's possible, I have a strong conviction that everybody in this room can help me to drive our whole industry as a collective forward together. Because I think that these aren't tools that are going to take everyone in this room's job. These are tools that are going to show everybody in the world that what we do is the most fucking important thing in the world. Thank you for your time, everyone. Really, really appreciate it.